Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chat from a Hat. I'm your host, Josh Brown, along with my co-host,
Caleb Luther.
Caleb, how are you, my friend?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing today?
I had a 2-day work week. It was absolutely terrible. As per every work week is absolutely terrible where I work. But, you know, it's okay. We're good. We're here. We're getting ready to talk Jim Carrey movies, and I'm pretty excited for that, as Jim Carrey's one of my favorites. So,
well, that's nothing. I work 85 hours a week, buddy.
Okay.
Let me tell you what.
Congratulations.
And I love it.
Work yourself to death.
I love working nonstop. I don't like doing things that are fun. I just like to work all the time. No.
Oh, are you a boomer, Caleb? Are you a boomer?
I worked 3 days this week because we worked on Monday, but I'd be lying if I said I did much.
Because
I didn't.
Well, Caleb, apparently you've got one of those mentalities that if you don't work yourself to death, you're not respected.
You just got to work all the time. No
vacations.
Got to work
all day, all night. No vacations. Uphill both ways.
Work is stupid. Isn't the concept of work just so dumb? And this comes from someone who actually likes. I actually like my job. I like my coworkers. I like going to my office every day. But if I was working like a quote unquote regular job, like I had before,
like a 8:30 to 4:30 or 9 to 5,
so dumb. I mean, I work from 9:30 to 4:30.
Well, okay,
but yeah, just the concept of like, oh, we got to work to survive for the rest of our lives to make money is crazy, right?
It is.
I can't believe we haven't done anything about that. We're not going to ever.
We're not, because there's this thing in the world called money, and that is more important than anything.
I do love having money, but geez, I don't like what you got to do to get it. But I like my job, so.
Well, congratulations.
I'm
glad that you do.
You know, I mean, I do.
Round of applause.
Yay! Go Caleb! Woo! Caleb, you're the best! Go Caleb! That boy! You hear those people, man? They were cheering
me. We have ourselves a live audience this week here.
They were cheering me on.
At Chat from a Hat. Caleb, last week we got to talking about our favorite movie soundtracks.
We're not going to talk about Camden Park at all. Is that what you're telling me? Are we just skipping?
Are we
just skipping the Camden Park?
I kind of forgot about Camden Park, but we'll talk about the sound. We'll talk about the soundtracks first, and then we'll
do that. We did talk about movie soundtracks.
We did talk about movie soundtracks.
Luckily, I made a status yesterday asking people what their favorite their favorite soundtracks were, and I got a few comments.
Okay.
Patrick Cox said "Almost Famous," which I had on mine. Jim, our friend Jim, put singles. I don't think I've ever seen.
I've never seen
singles, but I know what it is. Chelsea Wiley said "It Follows." That's probably a score thing.
Yeah, it's a score.
She's talking about the score. It's got a great score. Justice Santana says anything Hans Zimmer or Trent Reznor, which is also a score thing. My coworker Lisa said Almost Famous also. And she also said it's not a movie soundtrack, but she really likes the songs they use on Supernatural. And Tara Saltzman said Lord of the Rings. So also a score.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a little mix of the music, the song soundtracks, and like the score. So that's sort of like what we did. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we hope everybody enjoyed that episode. It was a lot of fun to talk movie soundtracks and you know, some of your favorite songs and movies and things like that. But Caleb, you went to Camden Park over the weekend. How was that?
I did.
How was that?
It was the first time I've been in 26 years.
Was it as scary as I would think it would be?
Little bit.
Did you almost die?
No, I didn't almost die. But
how many times though?
How many times what?
Did you almost die?
I didn't almost die ever. But
shame.
I did start off on a rocky start.
Shame.
Because the first ride I rode was called the Whip. And it's basically like what it's on is like a bumper cars sort of thing where it has like a top and the floor is like the bumper car floor. But these things like you're in a cart that goes around this thing and it spins around, and on every corner it jerks and it feels like it's just going to go flying off of the floor. So every time I did that, I was like, man, that's the thrill right there. You just feel like you're going to die on it. It just feels like it's going to break. That was cool. I rode the Big Dipper for the first time. Was built in the mid to late 50s.
And it looks
boy howdy, I tell you. But honestly, I thought it was fun. That's a fun little ride. I'm sure on a bad day, it could be very dangerous and people could get hurt on it. But on my day, I rode it 3 times. Had a good time. Didn't have that great a time on the typical carnival type rides because they're all just like the spinny rides.
Yeah.
And I did have a headache later in the day, and I took a Dramamine, and I'm notorious for Dramamines absolutely annihilating me, not just for that day, but for the entire next day. So I took that Dramamine like that night, and the whole next day I felt drowsy. Dramamines, it doesn't matter if it says non-drowsy or less quote unquote less drowsy. Yeah, right, buddy. I know what this is.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to say, I'm about to take heroin.
It's the same. It's the same damn formula. It's every time.
So
it's the
I
same
mean,
formula.
I enjoyed it. I'll go back to Camden Park in 10 years, maybe. Maybe if they get something new, they won't though. It feels so much smaller than whenever I was in grade school.
Yeah.
It's so small. Holy cow!
Yeah.
You just turn the corner when you walk in, and there's the Big Dipper.
Hi. Good morning.
So that was my Camden Park experience.
Nice.
Not awful, but yeah.
Nice. I saw Taylor Swift over the weekend.
I know you did.
Yeah. We're not gonna deep dive into it because we kind of deep dived into it before we went on the air.
Yeah.
There's some horror stories to be had, but overall, it was a great concert. She started an hour early. I don't know if did I tell you that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she started an hour early because there was supposed to be a thunderstorm that blew through, and it was fine. It was perfect.
Fine.
The whole entire show was perfect. Perfect weather. It was just really hot, really humid.
Yeah.
The moment we pulled back into the hotel, just like a gusher, like somebody just just poured a bucket out on top of the car. So yeah, but I said it on Facebook. It was probably not. And we've seen plenty of concerts. It was without question probably the best concert I've ever seen.
When it comes to just how much effort was put into it.
Yeah, and the effort, the length, production, just. I mean, that will be a standard for concerts now, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. 46 songs.
It's a lot.
3.5 hours nonstop. It's a long concert, but it was an environment too. The people that were around, it was like one big party, but it wasn't like a big party like. We've been to stadium shows. We know what it's like. Yeah. It's just like everybody's kind of like sitting around, yay, this. They literally had the stadium shaking, dude. It was insane. Nancy and I sat down during 22, and we looked at each other, and we felt the vibration. I was like, they have the stadium shaking. She was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, that's the stadium shaking. And she was like, is that safe?
Is that okay?
She was like, yeah. She was like, is that okay? I'm like, well, if we're gonna die, we're gonna die here at a Taylor Swift concert. I guess we'll go out happy. But yeah, there's a video on TikTok of like the street lamps shaking.
I've seen it
from the top of the stadium. But anyway, so yeah, super cool. I had a great time. I'm glad you had a great time at Camden Park. Did you go on
the stretch?
Did you go on the haunted house ride?
I did.
How was it?
Also, just like whiplash nonstop.
Yeah.
It's super dark in there.
Because that always petrified me as a child.
Oh, I had my eyes closed when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But did not have my eyes closed. I wrote it with my 9-year-old niece. It's just so dark in there. But I don't even know if it's just because some of the art inside, because all it is basically like art on the walls when you go in there, but it's pitch black and it's like glowing in the dark almost. Some of it is kind of freaky.
Yeah.
Some of the art is a little freaky. There's some like demon stuff in there that's a little freaky. For the most part, it's just really dark. The scariest part of the ride was this jump scare that happens at the very end because there's no brakes and a guy has to jump out and stop you.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no brakes. So the guy jumps out in the last corner and stops like, oh god.
It's been that way for 25 years.
I've watched TikToks on it, and I was like, oh man, I forgot all about that. So
in the name of the law.
Yeah, I wrote it.
I
wrote it one time.
I figured you'd ride that 2 or 3 times, honestly, just to have the jump scare of somebody jumping out.
It's not worth it. Not a very fun ride. And it gives you like whiplash on it. It just goes. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm making like sharp
turn noises.
Sharp turn noises.
Well, Caleb, this week we are talking Jim Carrey movies. We are going to rank Jim Carrey's movies from the best to the worst, or worst to the best.
The ones that we've seen.
The ones that we've seen, yes.
I've seen 24.
I've seen 21. So we've got...
And I've seen the number 23.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's there. We'll say that. Oh, my God, what am I doing? I noticed where I put number 23 on the list, and that is not right.
Mine's in a very interesting spot for it.
Move that
I got that in a very interesting, fitting spot.
Very, very interesting as well. So, Caleb, we'll start out. I have honorable mention down here. I have Simon Birch. I've seen Simon Birch quite a few times. When I was younger. I haven't watched it in adulthood, which I want to, because I've heard, I remember it being very, very good. But he's not in it very much, except for the final, 30 seconds, but he's the narrator. So I didn't necessarily put that in a ranking just because he's a narrator. So it's not really a Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah.
But it's really good. If we had to put it in there, I would probably put it in the top 20, but that would be about as far as it would go if we had to put it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb, what movies are on your list that you haven't seen?
That I have? What do you mean?
That you haven't seen? Like, you said you had 24 movies, right?
I've seen them all.
Oh, okay. Well, I put movies down that I hadn't seen. So.
How are you going to rank movies you haven't seen?
No, I was just saying, what movies haven't you seen from the list of movies?
Oh, from all of his movies?
Yes.
There's a few that I haven't. I haven't seen Mr. Popper's Penguins.
I have seen Mr. Popper's Penguins.
There was one. There was a couple like more recent ones I haven't seen because they just got bad reviews.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not gonna like this probably.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go ahead and we'll go through it. I will go ahead and tell you that Mr. Popper's Penguins, I don't really remember a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I'll have a reason as to why it is where it is on the list when we get through there.
Yeah, some of these I just have like vague memories of, but I feel like I remember enough to know where to rank it on my list. Yeah.
All right, Caleb, since you have 24 movies, you have to go first.
Okay.
So what's your 24?
So I got 24. My last one I just rewatched. We watched it in theaters 9 years ago. I hate it.
Okay.
That is the sequel to Dumb and Dumber, which is Dumb and Dumber 2.
So that's your last movie?
Yeah, it's my least favorite.
Really?
I think that it's pathetic. It is a pathetic movie. In watching it again, there are no laughs in the movie, actually, and it is trying to make you laugh constantly.
The one time that I did watch it, I'm going to disagree with that just for the one scene that caught us off guard.
It's clever, but rewatching it didn't make me laugh.
Well, of course.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, exactly. You knew it was coming.
Good movies make you laugh over and over again.
That's
good comedies. Like
that's a good point.
Like the original Dumb and Dumber.
That's a good
This
point.
one lacks all of the charm of the original Dumb and Dumber. I know it seems weird to say like this movie's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, it's Dumb and Dumber. No, this movie's dumb. It has
dumb.
The dialogue is dumbly and poorly written.
Mm-hmm.
The plot is dumb. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It does not take place in any sort of
realm of reality.
Like the first one kind of did. Everyone's dumb in this. It looks awful because in the 90s, I can't completely verify this or confirm this, but I'm pretty sure most movies in the 90s were shot on film.
Yeah.
So Dumb and Dumber, by default, this looks a lot better. This movie, it just looks like lit all the way. Like all the lights are turned all the way up. It looks like a TV show. It looks very bad. It looks extremely cheap.
I've always said one of the dumbest, no pun intended, scenes in that whole movie is when they are bathing in the radioactive waste. And if I'm not mistaken, do they not glow?
They do, and they're driving a Zamboni on the road. One of the things that cleans like the hockey. See, that's what's ridiculous. In the first one, they were dumb.
Yeah,
but everything they did for the most part, except from a couple cartoonish things,
was plausible.
Were plausible.
Yeah.
Like
riding in a dog van.
And then driving like a miniature like
motorbike. Plausible.
Them driving a Zamboni is stupid.
Yeah.
Like it's so stupid and like none of the jokes are clever.
Yeah.
Like in the first one, they're so dumb that there's a charm to it, and the jokes are kind of smart. Mm-hmm. I'll get more to that when we get to the movie. But in this one, they're mean. These characters are mean. They're racist. They're misogynistic.
Yeah.
It's just a mean movie.
Yeah.
At the end of it, when they're at like this conference and Harry's acting like a doctor, and there's like a mentally handicapped guy that's like Stephen Hawking, and the way that they make fun of that is like it's like what this. They wouldn't do this in the first movie. Yeah, they're kind of mean to the blind kid, like at least Lloyd is, and even Harry's like, Lloyd, what are you doing?
Yeah,
they're just so much stupider in this movie.
Yeah,
to me, like Lloyd's always been way dumber than Harry. Harry was somewhat grounded but kind of charming in that first one.
Yeah.
This one, they're both just outrageously dumb. And the fact that Lloyd pretended to be like catatonic for 30 years or whatever at the beginning of the movie as a prank. Then there's another prank at the end that completely like dismisses the entire plot of the movie. Oh God, Josh, I hate this movie so much. It's bad. Okay. It might be as bad as a Dumb and Dumber, that prequel.
I think Dumb and Dumber is better than Dumb and Dumber 2.
It might be.
I really do.
I think the guy playing Lloyd is actually kind of good. The movie sucks.
Yeah, the movie's not good.
But I think the guy playing Lloyd is kind of good, and there's a cool little Bob Saget scene in the movie. Though this movie's awful. This is one of my least favorite movies. Dumb and Dumber 2 is it's pathetic. It's embarrassing.
And what's sad is that we had such high hopes for that movie.
I did initially, but I didn't after the trailer. I was like, this is a bad trailer.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll. Nah, it never did. It sucked.
It never did.
Okay, I was probably going to talk the most about that movie, so don't worry,
That's
folks.
okay.
That I'm probably not going to talk as much about the rest of the movies, but I'm so passionate about my hatred for that movie.
That's fine.
It should
That's
not
fine.
exist.
So,
What
is your 23?
The number 23 is my 23rd movie.
Of course it is.
In all regards, it might be worse than Dumb and Dumber 2.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's needless.
It's not.
It's needlessly complex while trying to be like this cool noir movie, but it's just dumb and
at least though the number 23 has
it has a style.
It has a style,
right?
and it has something that it's trying to do. Dumb and Dumber 2 doesn't even have any substance to land.
Sure. I just don't like this movie
Yeah.
though. I would never rewatch it. I think it's boring.
Yeah.
And
not to mention
honestly,
the fact
even though it's considered a serious Jim Carrey movie, I think his performance is pretty it's not amazing compared to some of his other dramas. You want me to go again?
23, yeah,
22.
22.
I
I only have 21, so you got to get yours out of the way.
22. I got the Incredible Burt Wonderstone.
Okay,
he is
never seen it.
He's third on the bill. He doesn't have as big of a role as like Steve Carell, and I forgot the other dude in the movie, but. I did not like this movie. It might have had a couple laughs. Don't like Jim Carrey's role. It just, I don't know. I don't remember much about it. I just remember I did write a review for it on Facebook, and I did not like this movie. So, don't like. Have you seen this movie?
I have not.
I've
not seen it.
It sucks. It's not good at all. You want me to do 21?
21. Go
21.
ahead.
Okay.
Tread lightly.
I barely remember. You know what? I rewatched it a pretty long time ago, and I think it has a great soundtrack. But I don't really like Batman Forever, so it's 20,
okay.
It's 21 for me.
Okay,
it's got. I mean, "Kiss from a Rose" is one of the greatest songs ever written, so I'm thankful that that came about.
Okay,
but the movie not very good. I think Jim Carrey's fine in the movie though.
Okay,
don't love Tommy Lee Jones though. I don't love Val Kilmer's Batman either.
That's okay.
Don't love Robin. Don't love most of the
My God, man!
I don't think it's a very good movie. Sorry.
Well,
I think it's substantially better than Dumb and Dumber 2. I think there's a big gap between my 21 and my 24.
We need the Schumacher cut is what we need.
Josh.
It's what we need.
No, we don't. We don't need anything.
I would watch it, dude.
Okay.
I would watch it so hard.
What's your 21?
21 is Dumb and Dumber 2.
Okay, good. Good.
Because
I was hoping to God it was
it's so terrible, dude. It's so bad. Like I watched I watched it once.
It's a lot grosser than they do so many. There's really not. There's one semi-fart joke, but it makes sense because Lloyd puts X-Lax in Harry's drink. In this one, they're just doing fart jokes for the heck of it, constantly. Yeah. Oh God, I hate it so much.
It's not good.
What else don't you like about it, Josh? Tell me.
I mean,
am I forgetting anything? Because I just rewatched it. It's pretty fresh on my brain.
Go ahead. It's bad. I remember when we watched it, and once it was over, and we were in a pretty packed theater.
Dude, it was so packed.
It was so packed.
We had to sit those first rows of seats. It sucked.
And we were just kind of like, when it was over, we were just kind of like, that was not good.
I was annoyed that people were laughing at it.
Yeah.
It was one of those movies.
Yeah.
There are two dream sequences in this. That
compared to the first one,
and they suck so bad.
Yeah,
they try. The first one's so good because it plays one song, and it's consistent with that. This one, in Lloyd's dream sequence, they play like 5 songs in that dream sequence. It's awful. Jesus. I hate that movie. Oh God! Now you got me started back on it.
That's okay.
It sucks.
You're passionate.
Okay. Do you have anything more to say about
No, I really don't. You've pretty much summed everything up with
it.
It's
a bad movie. My 20.
20.
Okay. People, hold on to your butts, people. I don't like this movie. I don't hate it, though. Don't hate it. We're at the point now where I'm sort of mixed on these next few movies.
Okay.
But I really like Jim Carrey's performance in this. I think it's the one thing that makes the movie go, and that's how the Grinch Stole Christmas.
That low.
It's 20. Yeah.
Wow.
I just think I'm looking at these other movies.
Okay.
I can't see how these other movies are worse than How the Grinch Stole.
Okay.
I don't really like it. I don't understand how it can be a 2-hour movie. It's not.
There's a lot of stretch.
Thank God for Jim Carrey.
There's a lot of stretch.
Who's given it his all, honest to God. But there's not 2 hours worth of story there. I can understand people being a staple for Christmas time, but it pales in comparison to the 30-minute cartoon. It just does. But Jim Carrey is great in it, no doubt. He has a few really funny lines in it. Like, but what will I wear? But anybody else in that movie aside from Max the dog, I'm like, get out of here. Get out of my movie.
You mean to tell me you don't like
No.
Okay.
Who?
I was going to say
Any of the Who people?
they
just look creepy and weird. Jeffrey Tambor.
Tambor, thank you.
No, I don't. He's awful.
Wow.
I know he's supposed to be a jerk, but gosh, get out of the movie.
I don't know how to feel about you right now, buddy.
I'm sorry, buddy. What's your 20?
My number 20 is a movie that I actually never finished because I didn't like it that much.
Oh
no. And that is Fun with Dick and Jane.
You know, I didn't put it on my list because I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but I agree. I didn't like it when I was watching
I only saw bits and pieces of it too because I turned it off.
It's not very good.
So I remember renting this movie at a local store that we had in Man. And I was like, oh, Jim Carrey's got a new movie. Yes, awesome, cool. Grabbed it. Took it home, it was VHS too. So that shows how old it was. Put it in the VCR, and I remember never finishing it, ever.
Yeah, it's not great. Isn't it a remake?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would come on TV sometimes, and I'd turn it over there, but I was like, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Really.
19. Number
okay.
19.
This movie, by all accounts, is pretty good. But there's a reason why it's a little lower, and that's Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events.
I've never seen it.
You know, he's also really good this was his makeup era, where he's like, he's unrecognizable.
Yeah.
But the problem is that apparently it's not adapted extremely well from the books, and the Neil Patrick Harris Netflix series is so much better. That is legitimately a really good series. It's like 3 or 4 seasons, and it's dark, it's funny, it ends like very somber and sad. And this one, you know, I don't think you can tell this story in a movie's length. You do got to expand upon it. And he did what he could with it. Sort of similar to How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but I do like it more than that. So that's why it's a little low.
Okay.
It's just, you know, it could have been better.
Yeah.
So
my number 19 is Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Never seen it.
I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember watching it and being like, yeah, that was a cute little movie. That's cute. Yeah. You know.
Definitely a kid's movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a kid's movie.
Yeah.
But I do remember finishing it, so, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know,
it's
better than Dumb and Dumber 2 and
Well, gosh,
Fun with Dick and Jane.
The bar is
Good
low.
God.
The bar is low.
Bar is super low, and it just keeps gradually getting higher.
It's getting a little higher. We'll get to a point where it's like, oh yeah, these are really good.
There's going to be some of them on here, I think, and when we start getting to the
top
order.
10, my top 10 is really pretty daggone good movies, I think.
Okay.
But my number 18 is Yes Man. I've only seen it one time. It's not great, but it's got a nice charm to it. It's got a good cast. You know, it's got it's got Bradley Cooper, Jim Carrey, and Zoe Deschanel. Yep. Jim Carrey, you know, he does his Jim Carrey thing. You know,
a lot of these movies are going to be Jim Carrey does his. But
this is another one that I just haven't seen as much as other ones. But I was not irritated while watching it, so that's a good Jim Carrey attribute.
Sure,
I was not irritated. So,
sure,
so good. I'll also say that if it ever comes to us doing an Adam Sandler ranking, there are so much worse Adam Sandler movies than Jim Carrey movies.
Oh, absolutely.
But some of Adam Sandler's best movies are just so good.
Yeah.
But Jim Carrey's a little bit more consistent, I think.
My number 18 is the number 23.
Okay.
You kind of summed all of that up earlier when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm again, compared to Dumb and Dumber 2, since that's the lowest bar that we can go, it does have a thought. It at least attempted to do something.
I think they're bad in drastically different ways. Yes. But yeah, Dumb and Dumber 2 is so irritating. And
Dumb and Dumber 2 is insulting.
Bad. Number 23 isn't necessarily like infuriating. It's just it's kind of dull to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. What's 17?
17.
Hold on to your butts.
People. Oh God.
Don't hate this movie. I just don't think it's as good as the first one, and it's just way grosser, and there might be some offensive stuff in it, but there's also some really funny scenes in it, and that's Ace Ventura when Nature Calls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, the rhino birth scene is iconic, and there's a couple scenes where he's like as the White Devil.
Guano Bowl.
A couple of the White Devil scene, but it just as a narrative, it's not. I don't think it's nearly as good as Pet Detective.
Let me guess, White Devil.
And even Pet Detective has some things that has not aged well.
Oh no,
but for Jim Carrey showcase, they're both definitely undeniably Jim Carrey just going all out. But I think When Nature Calls is quite a bit worse than Pet Detective. Okay. But I don't hate it. Hate it. You know, I'm at the point now where I don't hate any of these movies at all. So what's your 17?
For Dumb and Dumber 2.
No, I mean from 18 on or 19 on, I don't hate any of them.
17 is Batman Forever.
Ooh, you love it.
I do. That that movie will have a nostalgia trip for me. I will still watch it. I would still watch it to this day, just because it's so nostalgic to me. Because that was the first Batman movie that I actually saw. I didn't see the Keaton Batman.
It might have been the first one, unless I watched Batman Returns or the first Batman before that. This came out in '95, right?
But the in our one episode when we were talking about Batman toys and things, the Batman Forever toys were the toys for me. So, yeah, Batman Forever gets a little higher spot than Mr. Popper's Penguins, but not by much. But but yes, Batman Forever at number 17 for me.
Okay, my 16 is a movie that he might only have like 20 to 25 minutes of screen time, but he was advertised so much in the movie, and he is really good and almost unrecognizable, and that's Kick-Ass 2.
Never seen it.
It's nowhere near as good as the first one, which I think is slightly overrated to begin with. Like for instance, I like James Gunn's Super more than Kick-Ass, and they're similar kind of movies.
Yeah.
But Jim Carrey is really good in Kick-Ass 2. It's a shame that he did not want to promote the movie after it came out, because he didn't realize how violent the movie was, and he saw that, he's like, I can't promote this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, did you read the script, buddy?
Yeah.
It's like, your character is vicious.
You literally, but you can the number 23, but you know.
But you can deny vaccines. Okay, whatever. We're not gonna get into Jim Carrey's craziness.
Yeah.
I guess I forgot one Jim Carrey movie on here.
What's that?
It's the documentary that was made about Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah.
That would be high on this
That would
list.
be high.
That was interesting, because that made me like, Jim Carrey is a crazy person.
Yeah,
Holy
forgot
cow.
about that.
Okay. It's not on our list, but I'm going to let people know that I have it in my top 10. Probably.
Let's talk about it. Real quick.
Yeah. That was the Man on the Moon documentary, right?
What was it called?
Oh, gosh.
Andy. Oh, God.
It's called Jim Carrey, Why Are You Insane?
Yeah.
I'll Google it real quick.
Anyway, so that movie was on Netflix, right? It was a Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
Jim Met Andy, wasn't it? Or Andy Meets Jim,
it's
or
called
something.
Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond.
Ah, okay.
So The Great Beyond
Jim and Andy.
The Great Beyond is the REM song that was in Man on the Moon.
So
he'd be a nightmare to work with.
So here's the thing, and it showed that Jim Carrey was a method actor, but he kind of went too far. It almost went like Jared Leto crazy.
He went way too far on Man on the Moon.
Yeah, he went way too far.
Like he tried to like do this feud with who's the wrestler? Jim Lawler.
Yeah.
And Jim Lawler will tell you, like, I was actually friends with Andy in real life, and Jim, I'm not. Like, Jim's pushing it too far on the set, because he's trying to like act too much like Andy on set.
Yeah.
So like he's like, I don't like Jim Carrey. Like, I don't blame you, dude. Like he's a nightmare. Like I'd hope to God that he cooled off of that.
Yeah.
After that, that was probably my guess. If I'm looking at his movies from that era, that was probably the first movie he did that on, because it's the only, maybe The Cable Guy he did it on, because that was such a different kind of role for him. But the Andy Kaufman role was, he embodied that. And he didn't really do that much after that. He did play the Grinch. I'd hate to see if he was a jerk on the Grinch. That would just be so upsetting.
Well, apparently he was supposed to, like, he got so irritated by the makeup he almost quit.
That would be irritating, though.
And I saw a clip on YouTube, I think it was YouTube, might have been TikTok, that he was talking about what he did every day. When they would put him in the makeup, like, they brought in a war guy that would, like, tell him how to cope with torture.
Yeah.
And it was like, they were like, you smoke or you hit yourself or something like that. And he was like, he said that I would just sit there and just chain smoke with the Grinch makeup on, or while they were putting the makeup on, I would punch myself in the leg as hard as I could or something like that. Apparently,
or did he just do it on the movie?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But,
so I wouldn't be surprised
that's what he said
for the movie.
But that's what he said.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that
hey, the documentary, I recommend that.
Absolutely.
If you want to get into the mind of Jim Carrey a little bit, that it might change your views on Jim Carrey.
Yep.
It shouldn't change how you like his movies, though. But he is undoubtedly like insane.
Yeah.
Kind of. But I mean, that's sort of what's made him like a comedic mastermind, at least through the 90s. You know. What's next? Your 16.
My 16 is Yes Man.
Okay. You like it a little bit more than I do.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
But for the same reasons that you said, it's
fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's not like
It's not terrible. Or
an
anything.
end all be all Jim Carrey movie. But yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My 15 is Bruce Almighty.
Okay.
It's fine. Also,
Okay.
a little cheesy, but there's no doubt some like memorable scenes, especially the
absolutely.
Steve Carell moments.
Absolutely, Steve Carell. It's the Steve Carell show, is what it is.
Yeah, for a bit. I mean, Jim Carrey has some great stuff too,
Yeah.
but but Evan Almighty's awful.
Oh, God.
gosh,
It's
I do
terrible.
not recommend watching that travesty. Bruce Almighty's fine though. It's got some heart, but it's undoubtedly a little bit overly sentimental. It's got a great F-bomb in it. Like that was that era of movies where like they made that F.
What was the F-bomb in that movie? Where
like,
was it?
He's like, "Go F yourself, San Diego." Or,
Oh,
was that what that was? No, San Diego. He does say "Go F yourself" though. Let me see.
Yeah.
He's on air when he
Yeah.
says it because he's
He's on the boat.
oh yeah
I'm Bruce Nolan, and
yeah. Let me see.
no, that's it. Yeah, what is that? Is that in that cut or is it in the unrated cut? Because I remember they made two versions of that movie.
It's in the movie. I watched that movie in the old Chapmanville movie theater.
Okay.
He says it though. I'm trying to.
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping that that I could Google it and it would just show me the quote. But that's what I appreciated about.
No, he goes back to you. That's when he says it. Go F yourself as an Anchorman.
What back to you? What
He's like I'm Bruce Nolan. Back to you.
Here it is.
Yeah. This is what we do on the show,
I
folks.
just went to the IMDb parents guide.
This is what we do, folks. We are
You
completely
know what?
totally
He doesn't have-
unprepared.
He does say F's. He does say.
Yeah, that's what I
F's.
said. That's what he says. He goes
Okay,
back
you're
to
right,
you.
you're right,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was important, people.
We had
This
to know.
was important.
We had to know.
People need to know that PG-13s, they weren't all Marvel movies, even though the new Guardians does say it, but it's not like epic. It's just like matter of
It's
fact.
just kind of like it's here.
They used to make that F word count, man. In the old Adam Sandler movies and Jim Carrey movies, they made it count. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Am I right? Okay. What's your 15?
I'm not going to elaborate on it
God.
because I know it's going to be way higher on your list.
I'm already annoyed at this.
It's already going to be way higher on your list, and the reason why I'm not
Oh,
going
God.
to,
It better not.
I just like these other movies better.
It better not be what I think it's gonna be.
What do you think it's
I
going
don't
to
know,
be?
just say it.
What do you think it's going to be?
Nope. Just say it.
Me, Myself, and Irene.
Okay. I thought it was gonna be something else.
What did you think it was going to be?
I thought he was gonna bust out a Cable Guy at 15.
Oh God, no.
Okay, I like Me, Myself, and
No.
Irene. I like it more than you.
That's fine.
Has
That's
not
perfectly
aged
fine.
Particularly well.
That's part of the point too.
But it's still like, no doubt, that is a comedic force of a role for him.
Sure.
Holy cow.
Sure, it's his show.
I bet he was unbearable on that set.
That's what I was thinking.
I bet
That's
he was
what I was
unbearable
thinking.
on that set. Holy cow.
I bet you he
Yeah.
was walking around like, oh hey guys, how's everybody doing? You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, pal.
yeah, like I guarantee you.
That's interesting because that was one of his, I guess, I'll talk about it more when I get to it.
Sure,
But
sure.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that might have been his first R-rated comedy, unless I'm forgetting something. And they use that R rating.
Yeah,
It's kind of.
I think it is.
Because it's a Fairley Brothers movie, and
I think it
the
is.
Fairley Brothers upped the. It's more like there's something about Mary than it is Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
Okay,
14.
I understand that ranking. 14 is a movie that I loved initially, but then the more I watched it, I was like, it is way too cheesy and sentimental, but it's still got good drama. It's
Okay.
probably underrated, if anything.
Okay.
I think it's better than what the reviews give it, and
Okay.
that's The Majestic.
I've never seen them
It's
just.
a good little period piece. Jim Carrey, he loses his memory after
Right.
bumping his head,
Right.
and it's about like It's about like screenwriters in Hollywood getting like blacklisted for like being like a Russian spy or whatever. I don't even remember exactly, but it was a decent romance and a decent little drama, courtroom drama. Jim Carrey is really good in it. But it's a little overly sentimental. But it's fine. It's a Frank Darabont movie. He directed Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile and The Mist. So I mean, he's only directed 4 movies, and this is one of them. It's probably the worst one. So, what's your 14?
My 14 is Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Ooh.
2.
Oh.
2.
You like 2 less than 1.
I like 2 less than 1, and here's why.
Interesting.
Here's why. I feel that in Sonic, which I'll go ahead and tell you my 13 is Sonic. So they're back to back.
Mine are also back to back when I get to mine.
So 14, 13 being Sonic 2 and Sonic 1. Sonic 1 felt like he was able to be more of a grounded, and by grounded I mean it wasn't Jim Carrey being a Jim Carrey character. Sonic 2 felt like the Grinch.
I don't know. He was pretty wacky in that first one.
He was. I mean, he was. But in 2, he was just like over the top Jim Carrey.
I might have liked it more though. I might have liked that more. But I think I like 2 more, mostly because of the addition of Knuckles.
Oh yeah. 2's a better movie, but I'm looking more so at Jim Carrey's performance.
Okay.
You know?
I don't. For some reason, I just don't remember exactly what all he did to separate himself from 1 and 2. I don't really remember that much. But yeah. Okay. My 13 is A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
Which
I haven't seen
Robert Zemeckis' Christmas Carol. It was, they were just starting to get somewhat good at that, like, the Uncanny Valley kind of animation that was similar to, like Beowulf.
Yeah, and, they were trying to make everything look realistic but animated at the same time.
Way better than, like, what's the Polar Express? Is that right? And it looked better than Beowulf. This isn't, like, the best Christmas Carol adaptation, but Jim Carrey plays a lot of roles in this. Like, he's good,
If we're talking Christmas Carol, it's without question the Muppets.
Oh, it's the best Christmas Carol.
It's the best Christmas Carol.
Undoubtedly. But this is pretty good.
It might be the best Christmas movie.
It's my favorite Christmas movie.
It might be the best Christmas movie.
We'll do a Christmas.
We might do a
Christmas episode.
We might do a Christmas
come
episode.
December. Yeah. We won't draw it out. We'll just say.
We'll just do it. Let's do it. It's our show. We'll do what we want.
Halloween one too.
We might. We've talked a lot about horror movies.
Yeah, but a Christmas Carol. Yeah, it's got some creepy imagery in it. Like I'd question showing this to a child.
Sure.
But yeah, Jim Carrey, as a Jim Carrey performance in doing like motion capture and whatnot, he did a lot in this, and I respect that. It's pretty good. I watched it in 3D in theaters. This was in the 3D era when like everything was, and it looked pretty cool. Cool. It was a pretty cool 3D movie. So, you want me to go ahead and do my?
I already said 13 was Sonic for me. So
you want me to do my 12?
You're 12.
Okay, my 12 and 11 are Sonic and Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Okay.
With Sonic the Hedgehog 2 being 11 and the first one being... Yeah, I like them. They're 2 of the best video game movies ever, if not the best.
Probably is the best in all honesty.
They're fun. They're not...
Other than Super Mario.
They're not incredible. I still wish that it was more like the Sonic video games, but they're fun. Sonic character's fun. Jim Carrey's a lot of fun in them. Don't love some of like the potty humor, the fart humor, but I can look past it. It's a kid's movie.
Yeah.
And they're just fun. I don't dislike them at all. A lot of fun. What's your
number 12?
11? No, 11.
No, 12.
12. No,
12.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
12. Man on the Moon.
Oh God, Josh, really?
Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon at 12?
Yep.
What on earth are you thinking?
Yep.
What are you thinking right now?
Man on the Moon. Man on the Moon.
What do you think of putting it at 12?
I'm thinking that I like these other movies more.
What's wrong with you?
I like these other movies more.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Man on the Moon is excellent.
It is excellent.
Okay.
Listen, okay. Here's the thing. From 12 on, for me, I could sit down and watch any of these movies at any time and never feel bad.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All
like,
right.
It's not like necessarily a 12-way tie, because that's just ridiculous. But any of these movies, if you put them on, I'm going to be sitting down and happy watching them.
Okay.
So they're take them or leave them movies.
Okay.
12's Man on the Moon.
Okay. What's your 11?
The Truman Show.
John, what is wrong with you today?
There's nothing wrong with me.
Oh my God.
There's nothing wrong with me.
Maybe you should have rewatched it this week like I did.
Listen. I like Jim Carrey more as a comedic actor than a dramatic actor. I'm sorry, I do. You're really going to be mad when Eternal Sunshine isn't in the top 5, but you're really going to be mad. You're really going to be mad.
John,
go on.
You're out of your
You're
out of your mind.
Go on.
You're so out of your mind that my laptop just completely went off. Okay.
You're number 10.
My number 10 is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Really?
Yeah.
That low?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
What is wrong with you, Caleb? What is wrong with you?
It's got one particular thing that is like literally the plot of the movie that ends up being the twist that is has not aged well at all.
It has not aged well.
It's not aged well.
Hasn't aged well.
To the point where I look at it and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I can't even laugh at that.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of stuff that I can laugh
Yeah.
at in the movie. Jim Carrey's
Yep.
really good. It's got some cool animals in it. It's got a nice little like mystery to it that ends up being like a mystery that I wish it didn't unfold.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
it's funny. The movie's funny. This is Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey.
Yep.
I think it's, like I said, it's better than When Nature Calls. So,
Okay.
which you still haven't ranked, which is crazy that it's in your top 10, but and it's above the Truman Show. Okay. What's your 10?
Number 10 is I Love You, Philip Morris.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sure that's going to be way higher up in your list.
It's a little higher.
Yeah.
Not way higher. It's just a little
We'll
higher.
wait and we'll talk about it.
You want to wait? You want to wait
Yeah,
and
we'll
talk
wait.
about it?
We'll wait.
Okay. My 9 is The Mask.
Okay.
I don't remember much of. I should have rewatched it this week. It's been so long, but I just remember it being cool comic book movie. Apparently, it wasn't adapted the way that some people wanted because it's not as dark.
It's not as
what
dark
people-
and violent as.
but it's still cool.
Yeah,
It's got
I love it.
This was the first big Jim Carrey movie. Mm-hmm. This is the first movie that we started counting whenever we were looking at.
Yeah, we
It
counted
came out
from
in
The
that big-
Mask on.
Came out in that big '94 year with Pet Detective and Dumb and Dumber. But this was the first one.
1994 was the year of Jim Carrey.
It's just a great year for movies in
Yeah.
general because you also
Yeah.
have The Lion King,
Forrest Gump.
Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump.
Great.
But yeah, The Mask. I'd like to rewatch it. But I know in my heart of hearts that I like it more than these movies that I've already listed.
Sure.
Like, I know that it has to be better than
Sure.
those, and it could be better than some of the ones I'm about to list. It could be, but it's just been so long.
Yeah.
And from what I remember, for its era, there were some pretty neat special effects in it. Not like incredible, coming off of Jurassic Park the year before, but some nice cartoonish.
Yeah.
Especially with the dog.
Yeah.
When the dog gets the mask on.
Yeah.
Kind of freaky. And whenever the villain gets the mask on, it is freaky.
It is freaky.
So
It's freaky.
what's your 9?
Number 9 is The Cable Guy.
Okay, at least it's in your top 10.
Yeah, it's in my top 10. Of course it's in.
Listen,
of course it's in.
There's
my
just
top
something about
10.
that movie. I
know you really love
just
that movie.
a
You
lot.
love that movie
Yeah,
way
yeah.
more than I do, and that's
There's something
perfectly
about
fine.
it. I don't know if it's the medieval night scene. I
Or the
love
fact
that
that,
scene.
or the fact that Jim Carrey just forgot he had a lisp at the end of the movie.
I
or-
quote. There's some Jim Carrey movies that I quote like daily, and I don't even recognize them. This is one of them.
Yep.
This is Dumb and Dumber.
Yep.
So what? Well,
So that was my number 9.
What do you like about it? What do you like
Well,
about
wait,
this?
because I know it's higher on your list.
Okay. It's not like at the very, very top, but it is a little
Yeah,
bit. From
that's
there.
fine. We'll wait. We'll wait.
My 8 is Me, Myself, and Irene.
Okay.
A tour de force performance. There's some questionable things in the movie.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of funny things in the movie. It's a nice, cool little, so a semi-road trip kind of movie. Like the Farrelly Brothers like to do those road trip movies, so much so that one of them won an Oscar for a kind of a road trip movie in Green Book, which is kind of a road trip movie. It's
Yeah.
just a different kind of road trip
Yeah.
movie. That's in the same area of there's
A lot less laughter.
There's something about Mary and Kingpin. Wow, a lot of their movies are road trip movies. Holy
yeah.
cow. Okay, wow. I'm just now realizing that. They just love it. And they like to have like these cool soundtracks.
Yeah.
With the exception of the Dumb and Dumber 2, which has just an awful soundtrack. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
I don't even remember
I'm
the
back
music
on
in
it.
it.
I'm back on my thing now.
That's okay.
No,
That's
but maybe,
all right.
I rewatched it not that long ago. You know, some things don't age well, but
Mm-hmm.
it's got some really funny stuff, and it's got like I said, the soundtrack. It's you gotta get gone, you gotta get going. It plays this song a few times, and you know, I don't know. It's a dumb movie, but it's cool. Jim Carrey got to like spread his wings in an R rating a little bit,
Yeah.
and
He got to be a little raunchy.
lots of raunchy. There's one scene in this movie that just makes me. I'm trying to think. What was it? It's whatever. What is it? He's What does he do? I
don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god! I watched it. You know, with our friend Nathan. Whenever y'all were living together, we watched it. We just laughed so much at this. Gosh, so he's he has Vaseline. He's like, what are you doing with this Vaseline? He starts putting on his lips. He's like, is anybody else's lips chapped? Because like with the Vaseline, there was like toilet paper, and you know what it's insinuating. He's like, is anybody's lips chapped after that ride? I don't know that. There's just little things like that in the movie that
Little
just
nuances.
cracks me up. Okay, what's your 8th? I had to dig that one deep to remember that one. But yeah, that's a funny scene.
The 8. Number 8 is How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Ooh, that's high.
I don't think it is.
That's high. That's high as
Might be for you.
Oh,
it's not
yes,
for
it
me.
And you know, a lot of people really love this one.
I really do. I do. It's I feel like it was one of the movies that Jim Carrey really like went over the top with, like not slapstick, but over the top of him.
While being
of almost like a bipolarism situation.
While being in a family-friendly movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So The Grinch. Love The Grinch.
It's that Faith Hill song. Where are you, Christmas?
That's all we can do because we'll get flagged.
That could have been anything, people.
That could have been flagged.
That could have been anything. That could have been any song. Yeah, there's a bunch of songs that say that.
Why can't I find you?
You know.
My
number 7. Is that
7.
Right? Ooh, 7 is Liar Liar.
Okay.
Really good. You know, it also follows like sort of the trappings that, which was, as far as I can tell, this was his first one, but sort of like a Bruce Almighty, where it's a little overly sentimental, but I think it works the best out of those PG-13 comedies. It's a really I don't know, very interesting concept that he can't tell a lie, and some really funny stuff.
The
comes
pen
out
is
of
blue.
It. Some really funny stuff comes out of it, and he's really good in the movie.
Yeah.
I believe he got nominated for a Golden Globe for this movie.
Nice.
Yeah, he's good. Some good dramatic chops and a lot of great comedy.
You're scared of the claw.
One of the few movies where the in credit bloopers is hilarious.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't feel tacked on. There's some whenever he makes the origami, he's like, "It's a goose, a goose." There's some really funny stuff there when he makes the water thing talk.
Yeah,
that in the courtroom
when the lady calls him an overactor.
Yeah.
Overactor jazz up, and everybody cracks up at it. Yeah, so
there's some good stuff in it.
Some good stuff in that
movie.
Isn't
Carrie Elways is like the stepdad? In that,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And he tries to do the claw. It's like,
you're scared of the claw. It's the claw.
It's a good one, man.
My number 7 is Liar Liar. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Liar Liar.
Yep.
It's decided. It's the 7th best movie.
We've decided. We have decided. Of the 20,
everybody has to agree with this.
The 24 movies
that matter in the world. Our opinion.
Our opinion. That is it.
Yeah.
Number 6.
I was thinking that would be a little higher for you, but
really,
I thought you liked it a little bit more than maybe not.
No.
My number 6 is I Love You, Philip Morris. We can talk about that.
Okay.
Now.
Okay. Love You, Philip Morris with Ewan McGregor and Jim Carrey about a gay couple. And
if I'm not mistaken, based on a true story.
I believe so.
And it is insane.
So. It is insane.
The way that he has to like fake his death and whatnot, and he.
They're con artists.
Yeah.
It's a real. You know, we were talking about sentimental movies, and as crazy as that movie is, there is some sentimental things to it.
It's got some emotion in it.
Yeah, it's got some emotion. It's not just one of those.
This is one of his best performances.
Yeah. And not to mention the fact that Ewan McGregor is just amazing.
I hate the fact that this
I thought you were going to say you hate Ewan McGregor. I was getting ready to come across the table.
He's a jerk. Screw Obi-Wan. But no, I hate the fact that this movie was borderline shelved, man. Like, I mean, like, it was not a well-known movie when it came out. It's still not.
It's still not.
And I hate that. It's like they wanted to bury it because of its content. And
yeah.
I think it would do better today.
I think it would.
Came out. When did this come out? Like 2011, 2012, something like that. 2010, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're like, we can't show this. We can't show this some of this quote-unquote graphic sex. In reality, it's just the same amount of sex you'd see in any R-rated kind of movie like this. It's just because they're gay. And which sucks. I hate that because this is a really good movie. One of his best performances, and I think him and Ewan McGregor work really well together.
It's definitely the most underrated and underappreciated Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, it's the one movie that, like, if you talk about people, like, what's that?
Yeah, what is that? Just watch it.
Well, watch it.
Just watch
it. It's really
it.
good.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's dramatic. Great performances. Twists and turns. Some unbelievable things that you have to believe because it happened in real life. What's your 6?
Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Oh man, that's high.
Again.
Whoa, Pet Detective. Whoa, Pet Detective is this high?
It's higher than
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's that high?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's
a fun movie.
But it falls onto the nostalgia again.
I guess.
Because I actually saw When Nature Calls before.
I might have too.
Ace Ventura.
We watched. I don't know how, but they played this for us in kindergarten. I'm telling you, they did. They did, Josh. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into. If I'm not mistaken, I think they did. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to watch this movie. I think they did. If I'm not mistaken, somebody brought this in and we watched it in kindergarten class.
Goodness gracious.
I think. Because this came out in 95.
Yeah.
I was 5.
95.
I was 5 in kindergarten. Wow. It's fun. It's fun. You know, I must have kicked my nostalgia to the side for this.
Oh,
one.
I didn't.
I must
a lot of these are nostalgia, and the especially the top.
Man.
These top, like, dude, I'm telling you,
Have you
these
seen
top
how-
like 6
Have
movies.
you seen how poorly reviewed When Nature Calls is?
I know, and I
It's got
don't get
It's
it.
got like a 22 or something.
I
like
don't
that on
get
Rotten
it.
Tomatoes.
I do not get it at all.
I guess my guess that critics were, at that time were starting to get really annoyed with Jim Carrey, and this is Jim Carrey like really going over the top, and they were probably just annoyed with him. Then did The Cable Guy, and it got a little bit better reviews.
Yeah.
I was gonna say speaking of that, but I'm not on the Cable Guy. My number 5 is a movie you had too low, no doubt. Is Man on the Moon.
Okay.
I don't know. It's narratively, it's not anything special. As a biopic, it's a biopic.
Sure.
But it's the Jim Carrey performance that we've all seen. He was actually crazy on set, but kind of worked. He got nominated for Golden Globe. I don't think he got nominated for an Oscar or anything.
Yeah.
But
Man on the Moon is long too, isn't it? It's like, isn't it like almost 2.5 hours?
I don't think so, dude.
Are you sure?
I'd be surprised if it's 2 hours.
It felt long. It felt long the first time I ever watched it. It felt long.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
I was also 9 the first time I watched
it.
it.
It's not even 2 hours. It's an hour and 58 minutes. So you're wrong. You're wrong. And
how long is it?
An hour and 58 minutes.
Oh, I thought you said 150.
No, an
minutes.
hour
I'm
and 58
sorry.
minutes. No.
I was going to say 158
No,
minutes is
no.
longer than 2 hours, Bubby.
Good. It's a great performance.
It is.
He's amazing.
It is.
And man, that movie is so depressing. Holy cow. The end of it is like, woo. But it's got some great REM songs. Obviously, it plays the song Man on the Moon, which came out way before that. But that song was about Andy Kaufman, so they included it. And obviously, they wrote The Great Beyond, which is also, no doubt, one of my favorite REM songs. Am I ranking it so high strictly for the REM of it all? Maybe. But
That's
no,
fine.
the movie works. It makes me cry. A great Danny DeVito performance, a great Paul Giamatti performance. I love whenever he's playing the Tony character with the
Tony Clifton.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Love it. Can't believe you ranked it so low.
Sorry,
What's your
man.
5?
Number 5 is Ace Ventura.
Okay.
So
That's
that leaves 4
Can't
movies.
talk about Ace Ventura too much.
Oh no.
Canceled.
It's going to be the Ace Ventura show.
Get canceled. We can't show too much.
Listen.
praise for that one.
Okay. Let's talk just a moment here. We as individuals have experienced growth, okay?
Yeah.
But in our younger
it was
years,
the 90s.
it was the 90s. And the 90s are cool again, except some stuff isn't.
Yeah.
Like
Which is funny because
like transphobia.
Whenever I get to a movie here in a little bit, there's nothing. There's a movie here in a little bit that's from around that era that there's nothing in it that's like really offensive, which is crazy to me. But we'll get to that one because we'll probably have a high 2. We're on 4, which is The Cable Guy.
Okay.
Which is, have you said The Cable Guy yet?
Yeah, Cable Guy was my number 9.
Okay. Cable Guy is great. It is great. It was a great change of pace for Jim Carrey. Very much overlooked, if I'm not mistaken, Ben Stiller's directorial debut. A kind of a dark movie. He gives I know some of his stuff is a little bit over the top, like the medieval knights stuff and whenever they're playing basketball, and he's just like, prison rules, huh? See, I quote the prison rules, huh thing.
You really do. You really do.
I do it a lot.
You really do.
Prison rules, huh?
Prison rules, huh?
I know some people could probably get annoyed with his lisp, but it doesn't bother me at all. Just a really strange and dark character. Especially there's some like dream
Matthew Broderick.
There's some dream sequences with Matthew Broderick that are like super freaky. I don't know.
I didn't drop anything.
It reminds me a little bit of like have you ever seen the movie What About Bob with Bill Murray?
No.
Where he's just terrorizing this family, and everybody's on his side. And like Richard Dreyfuss is like, why is everybody siding with it? It's kind of like this, where he kind of like convinces everybody else that Matthew Broderick is kind of the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which Matthew Broderick's not great. Like there's a couple things he could have done early on to like just be a little bit nicer to Jim Carrey's character, but I don't know, kind of a sad little character, but no doubt he's unwell.
Yeah, no doubt.
I really enjoy that one a lot. What's your 4?
My number 4 is Bruce Almighty.
Whoa. Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty.
Man, what is it about this movie?
Dude.
Is it Jennifer Aniston?
No. Yeah. Yeah. Move on. No, I'm just kidding.
No, really. Like, what is it about this movie?
This was, to be honest with you, it was a movie that I was. Again, dude, it's another nostalgia thing.
Got that 2003 nostalgia.
Well, here's why. It was a movie that my mom and I watched quite a few times, and she was also a big Jim Carrey fan, like a huge Jim Carrey fan. And this was one of the movies that she always would want to watch whenever she would want to watch a Jim Carrey movie. So, is there a problem?
There's a cable outside the window there.
Oh yeah, it's
okay.
Always,
I didn't know what that was about. Yeah.
But this was one of the movies that she loved because she honestly loved.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, thank you. I was going to call him Michael Scott. Like, he loved Michael Scott.
He is Michael Scott.
But, and she honestly thought that the scene of them in the...
Jim Carrey's, like, manipulating what he's saying.
Was the funniest thing. And
that was probably the most memorable. That's probably the scene most people talk about.
It is. And it's more so just remembering... That movie makes me remember her laughing so much. So that's So I can't put it out of my top 5. If I was basing it just on the movie alone, it wouldn't be in my top 5.
Despite its R rating, it is more probably family friendly than like a Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
But that like I said, that F-bomb goes hard.
Yeah, it goes hard.
And that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's the thing. He says that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3.
Another one you had crazy low. You probably need to rewatch it. You change your mind. You change your mind completely.
Okay.
It's The Truman Show.
Okay.
The Truman Show is great. I watched it for the first time in several years the other day because I needed to watch that and another one just to see where I'd place them because I knew they were towards the top. A great Jim Carrey performance. It is somewhat comedic, a little bit satirical. It's a commentary on, like reality and reality TV and whatnot. But yeah, great because it's very psychological too. Because the whole movie, he's like, what's this thing that's going on? And then he remembers certain things that happened when he was in high school. He's like, does this have to do with this one thing that happened? And everybody manipulating him and like lying to him and a new cool word people like to use, gaslighting him. And of course, Ed Harris is sort of like the director of the reality show as the villain. It's got some great moments. It becomes like a really good drama, especially with him out on the ocean or the lake on the boat, like trying to like escape what reality he's in when he's trying to like uncover everything. It's fantastic. Super unique. This was definitely the most unique movie he had done at this time until he released the movie a few years down the line.
Yeah, called The Number 23.
Called The Number 23. Exactly. Called Me, Myself, and Irene. No, this is great. It's a movie that a lot of people probably tend to forget about, like you probably. So.
Well, I think the part of The Truman Show is that I actually didn't watch The Truman Show until we were adults.
Oh, really? I watched it as a kid, and I probably didn't appreciate it as much as I should have.
I didn't see it until you, me, and Nathan watched it.
Did we watch it?
Yeah, we watched it at his house.
Oh, cool.
It was after we had band practice one day. I don't remember what it was. I think it was on TV, and we were just like, let's go ahead and watch it. Because it had just started. I think it was on one of the movie channels. I don't remember what it was. Yeah. But, so maybe if I went back and rewatched it, I would have a better appreciation for it. I do remember liking it, though.
It's great. Yeah. It's dang near a 10 out of 10 movie. It's probably like a 9.5, 9.8.
But I do remember enjoying it, and there's some funny parts in it. And,
you know what made me really want to rewatch it. TikTok's just an awful thing sometimes, but TikTok is using a clip from this as sort of like a GIF or a meme or whatever. When people are like, they put like a text and they use like this footage of Jim Carrey, and he's like, who the hell are you talking to? It's like what are you talking about? And then it got to the scene, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is where the scene happens. But yeah, I love it. What's your 3?
Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
I'm sure Dumb and Dumber's your number 2.
Dumb and Dumber's my 2, so we can just go ahead and talk about it.
So what was your number 3? Truman Show?
Truman Show was my number 3. So we can talk about Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what's there to say about Dumb and Dumber, dude?
I'd say it 95% holds up.
There's
literally just a couple jokes that are just like, that was uninspired. Like whenever they put the sign up on their door whenever they leave to go on the road trip, and the 2 hitmen come there, and it says like, for the gas man or something like that. The guy's like, it's like, can you believe this? Like, how did he know I had gas? And that's just not funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny. But there's so much stuff that is funny. Yeah. There's so many clever things out of their sheer stupidity. And the movie kind of becomes smart. It's a smart little like crime little movie that it develops into that. Like the road trip of it all is fun.
Yeah.
But whenever they get into Aspen, some of the best stuff happens.
Yeah.
Like whenever they're in Aspen, and a soundtrack that's just. We talked about this. I talked about this last week on the soundtracks episode. It just really complements everything that happens in the movie.
I'll agree with
that.
that.
It's just so funny, and it's like an against type kind of role for Jeff Bridges, and he's holding his own with Jim Carrey, like totally.
Yeah.
They're both spectacular. What do you
Jeff
love
Bridges?
About it? Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
What'd I say?
You said Jeff Bridges.
My bad. Jeff Daniels. Sorry, folks. Yeah. Which he's awful in Dumb and Dumber 2, though.
I still think like one of the funniest jokes is a joke that people don't really think about in that movie, but I think one of the funniest jokes is when Lloyd goes, "Oh man, what if they shot you in the face?"
It's like, yeah, what if
and Harry just goes, "Yeah, what if they would have shot me in the face?" So that was a chance we were willing to take.
Yeah.
And
it's great. And
I think that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I just think that's so funny.
Yeah.
And
there's some great stuff. It feels like
it's the look on Harry's face. He's like
I said, like they are dumb, but they're not like
they're not mean
maybe
dumb.
to an extent they're hopelessly dumb, but not like they were in the new movie.
Yeah.
Everybody in the new movie's dumb.
Yeah.
Nobody makes sense. In this one, Mary Swanson is a real person. Like
Samsonite.
She's not. I was way off.
I was way off. See, it's quotable, dude. It's so quotable.
I say big gulps, huh? Well, see you later. I say that all
I
the
know.
time.
We both do. Or we'd say something along that line and say, "Well, see you later."
Whenever they get to Aspen and they're like we're there when they're like frozen. There's some great ones.
Just go, man.
Some people's not cut out for life on the road. I mean, there's just it's endlessly quotable to me, and a lot of those things just like I said, like 95 to 90% of the jokes land, and it's nearly constantly throwing something at you, and you can't tell if it's scripted or if it's improvised. Like Jim Carrey, like looking at the signs, like, "No way, we've landed on the moon." Whenever he sees, there's just so many like. So you're saying there's a chance. And whenever whenever he's in the bar in Aspen, he's like, "Does Mary Swanson come in here often?" It's like, "Oh yeah." And he's like, "What is that supposed to mean?" And he grabs the guy. It's like, "It means that she comes in here." It's like, "Oh, sorry."
Or the the one scene with I mean, it's all a lot of people don't like it. I just think it's funny. Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
I don't know, man.
I love that scene. I think it's so funny.
The thing that sucks about that scene is that there's a lot of grating things like in a row, and I could see why someone would be annoyed, because right after that they do the Mockingbird thing, which really lands home whenever they pick up the hitchhikers and they start singing it again. Like that's where the joke really lands for me. But yeah, there's only like there's just that other thing. Whenever they go to the restaurant and they put the peppers in the guy's burger, he's like, it's like, "Won't you eat?" It's like, "How's your burger?" And he's like, "Won't you eat up and we'll tell you." Like I say that all like anytime like somebody walks away and they leave their food, it's like, "Hey, how's your food?"
Well, I mean,
I do that all the time.
The slapstick part of them like squeezing the ketchup and mustard,
and like Harry's like, "Try this.
Try this."
It works, and anything like that where they try to duplicate that in Dumb and Dumber 2 just fails.
It just fails horribly.
I think this is his best comedy. This is one of my favorite comedies. It used to be like legitimately like whenever I was rewatching this a lot between 2008 and 2010. This was legitimately one of my favorite movies. I even bought a couple Dumb and Dumber shirts of it. I don't wear anymore, but it can become overquoted until you step aside from it for a while and rewatch it, and it is very funny.
Yeah.
What's your two? I'm trying to think what you haven't said yet. And
my number two.
Let me look through this. The Mask. Have you said The Mask? You already said The Mask. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is your number two.
Is number two.
Is your number one The Mask?
Number one is The Mask.
Wow. Okay.
We'll get to why. We'll do
Eternal Sunshine because that's my number one.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's why I said we'll go ahead.
Okay.
And trust me, The Mask is going to be the most anticlimactic reason of all time, but it's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead. We'll talk Eternal Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine is my favorite movie of all time. So by default, it's my number one Jim Carrey movie. I think it's his best performance.
It is his best.
I would say it's Kate Winslet's best performance until I watched The Mayor of Easttown on HBO Max. She's great. But out of her movies, I think this is Kate Winslet's best performance. I think they are...
Titanic, sir.
No, this.
Titanic.
No, she's better in this, Josh.
Titanic.
Josh, I'm sorry.
She's the best in Titanic.
But no, you're wrong. I love Eternal Sunshine. It's super complex without being convoluted or confusing.
I agree.
It is has a few bits of humor in it, but this isn't the kind of movie. This isn't
No.
the kind of. There's a couple moments where Jim Carrey is like trying to like save stuff in his memory, and that introduces some of Jim Carrey's like classic humor.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he's a grounded character. Joel is. Great. Got a great side cast with Mark Ruffalo and who's the guy who plays Frodo.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. It's got Kirsten Dunst. There's actually a B plot with Kirsten Dunst's character, which I think would be as good as any A plot in any movie. I think that as a side plot, it's like, wow, this was really emotionally resonant, and this hurt me actually. I don't know, just kind of a hurtful movie, but but I love it. It opens your eyes with a lot of things when it comes to relationships and just not just romantic relationships, but just friendships and whatnot in general.
Yeah.
I think it is one of the best scripts ever written. As I said, my favorite scores. I think it's one of the best scores ever written with John Bryan. And Jim Carrey's incredible. He deserved way more award recognition for this. It's great. It is my favorite movie. I love it. It really moves me every single time that I watch it. Yeah.
I mean, I can't disagree with it being. Here's the thing. It is his best movie.
Yeah.
It's his best.
Yeah.
But having said that, for me, my favorite Jim Carrey movie will always be The Mask.
Okay.
It will always be The Mask. It's the movie I've seen the most. It's the first Jim Carrey movie that I ever saw.
Yeah.
And I still can vividly remember receiving that VHS tape of The Mask or of Stanley and Milo on the front cover.
Oh, yeah.
And it is, I think it's Jim Carrey's best slapstick comedy movie.
Might be.
I think it's as far as it's solid. It's a solid film from beginning to end. There's no fat that needs trimmed off of it.
And there's nothing like, especially crass or gross in it, right?
The only thing that I can think of that is particularly crass is when Milo pees on the guy.
So nothing,
but other than that,
nothing quite like Dumb and Dumber or Ace Ventura. Which
it would have to be something that I would go back and watch, but I can't necessarily remember.
I don't remember
anything.
I don't remember some of it, so I just
because I just remember again, Stanley is a down on his luck, banker.
Yeah,
and Cameron Diaz is a singer in a club. The only thing in the movie to me that you could cut out is the scene where Dorian goes in to the guy and he puts the golf tee in his mouth and hits the golf ball out of his mouth. That's the only thing because it bears nothing on the rest of the film.
Okay.
But I will always forever love The Mask. I would go after we're done watching this episode, I would go watch that movie and love it just as much now as I did back then. But I am in agreement with you that Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is his best movie. It's just not my favorite movie. So that's why I rank The Mask above.
As a movie, it's better. But when you're thinking of the Jim Carrey as a comedic actor and whatnot, you prefer that.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Man.
There we go.
I tell you what.
There's the Jim Carrey ranking.
The Jim Carrey ranking system. Woo! We have went a long time, my friend.
Have we?
We have went an hour and 8 minutes.
Okay.
Talking about Jim Carrey.
We're wrapping it up.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up here. We're wrapping it up. Caleb, where can people find us?
They can find us by typing in Chat From A Hat on Facebook, but we also have an Instagram, and we have a Twitter, and we have a TikTok.
And
what's this
else?
new thing that's out? That Mark Zuckerberg has made that's like a...
crap, I don't know. What are you talking about?
There's this new thing. We might make one. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
I've seen people making it and promoting it, but yeah, we might make one of those if I can remember the name.
Is it Threads?
Threads.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Threads.
That's a Mark Zuckerberg thing that's kind of like Twitter.
Oh, cool.
So
is it going to be like not safe for work like Twitter?
I don't know. Dude, I don't get on Twitter ever.
I don't get on Twitter.
And I just remade one not too long ago, but I got the app and I don't get on it. I don't like it.
I'm not a huge fan.
I don't like it.
Elon Musk, you suck, dude.
But if you want to email us, you can email us at chatfromhatcast@gmail.com. What's our... Josh, it looks like you pulled out a topic for next week.
I did pull out a topic for next week.
What's it going to be?
And
it better be good. Is it Jim Carrey again?
It could be.
Oh, man. No.
If you pick one of the movies.
Uh-oh.
Because we're going back to Draftland next week.
Draftland?
We're going back to Draftland because next week, Caleb, we're drafting scary movies.
Does he have any scary movies?
The number 23, dude.
That is a thriller. Scary movie draft.
A scary movie.
So scary movie
draft.
1, scary movie 2, scary movie 3.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
No,
yeah.
just scary movie in general.
Just
from
scary
any
movie
era.
in general from any era.
Holy cow!
We have so
I'm not
much to
gonna lie,
choose from.
I'm gonna yet again vote with my heart. I'm not
I will too.
I'm not gonna do this thing.
I will
where,
too.
I'm not gonna do this thing where I'm like, well, I gotta get Psycho first. Love Psycho. It ain't gonna be my
It ain't
first
gonna be-
pick.
it-
It might get picked
guess what?
eventually.
Guess what? If
I ain't
we-
gonna pick Halloween first either.
How many?
Folks.
How many movies?
15.
15?
That's what we
15
usually
apiece.
do.
All right.
15.
So 15 movies
Oh,
apiece.
this is gonna be good.
This is going to be fun.
It's gonna be good.
I got news for you, bub.
I'm gonna vote.
Psycho may not even be in my
doing,
top 15.
I'm gonna go heavy on the quote unquote elevated horror.
Going to be a lot of A24 in this, folks. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now.
This is gonna be another A24 episode.
The A24 episode. All right, folks. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you've enjoyed the Jim Carrey ranking. If there's some of those Jim Carrey movies that you haven't seen, go watch them, especially in those top 10.
Watch that Jim Carrey documentary.
Watch that Jim Carrey
Jim and
documentary
Andy.
for sure, because that movie or that documentary. Whew,
Yeah, that's eye-opening.
Jim Carrey's a little insane. And that's all right.
It's all right.
You know,
I'll still watch him.
yeah, I'll still watch him. Anti-vaxxer.
I'll still watch him.
I'll still watch him.
Yeah.
Of course, we're not going to have to watch him anymore. He's retired. So
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Until Sonic 3 comes
I
out.
forgot to mention that he does have a show that was on Showtime.
Oh yeah.
And I never really watched it, but I heard it's really good.
What was it called?
It's really the only show that he ever did aside from In Living Color.
He was
Which
like
I'm surprised we didn't touch on either in Living Color. But it's not a movie, so.
It's not a movie.
Yeah, gosh, I can't remember the name of it.
I can't remember what it was called
I remember
either.
Tyler the Creator had a short little role in it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway,
Look up that show.
Look up that show. Well, folks, thank you for joining us. Next week, we're going to be drafting some scary movies. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun.